Daniel
Hello.
Lukas, how you keeping, brother?
I'm keeping well, yeah. I told you earlier I have a little bit of a cold right now, but that's about the only thing.
Hence why we're doing this remotely. He's got the
Mm.
he's got the dose. He's got the dose of some sort. It's so I'm steering. No, Jesus, I would lick your face. I don't want to know anything about steering clear of diseases. I want to lick Ebola. Right? If somebody has Ebola, I want to lick their fucking face right now. I don't care. Just to see what the outcome will be. Fuck it. How's life in Cork anyway?
It's good. It's a busy day in the neighborhood. The gardens, everyone is doing their gardens today. There's loads of plants and everything being carried around.
Where are you living? Are you living in the city?
Yeah, I live in the city. I live you know where the UCC campus is, the
Yeah.
college? Yeah, I'm around there, that area.
It's grand and quiet. Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice, quiet, all students.
Is Cork is just 90% students. I think some of the buildings are made of student. They've
Yeah.
just mortared a few students together just to see. You think, oh, Christ Almighty, it's an unbelievable place for it, but it's proofs in the
Students.
pudding.
It's students and it's us Europeans coming over to work for the big tech companies. And that's all I call these days.
Just big tech and pharma. That's it. Bring them over. Bring them in. You're all right. You're the kind of one we like, Dan. You're the one we like. Now you know the tone of the podcast. You thought it was going to be all clean and lovely and everything else. For anybody who's ever seen Daniel's stand-up, it's as wild and as dark as mine is. So don't for a second think that you may not. Yeah, maybe. Adam, anybody who listens to my podcast doesn't get offended. They're not those sort of people.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I put it to you because I'm kind of having not an argument, but it seems to shock like radio people when I'm on with them because they all love to know the notion that everybody's getting insulted and everybody. I don't think anybody is. If the number is so small that it's almost insignificant, it's just very shouty online because in the real world in comedy clubs, like you're gigging flat out, like insulted.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you see it?
No. I honestly, whenever people always say stuff like, "Oh, I don't watch comedy because comedy is not like too safe these days." But if you ever go to a comedy club, it's not. It's fine.
And to be fair, you test defenses, like you do.
Yeah, but that's what I like about it because it has to be funny. If you're gonna try and be edgy, like you have to be funny. Otherwise,
Yes.
you just look like a dickhead. I think that's what I find interesting about it. It's that like little tightrope.
Well, isn't that it? Like you can say anything can be said. Because I have this argument too. You can say anything once it's funny. That's it. Doesn't matter how dark it is or how weird it is, so long as it's funny. Yeah. So long as somebody who knows what they're talking about looks at it and goes, "Oh wait, that's really funny." Actually, there's no argument with that. That's straight up funny.
I usually find them like a bit of a fair judge as well. The actual audiences. Because online people say stuff to you, but if they don't like a joke at a comedy club, they have to go and say to your face like after the show.
But by the same token,
super demoralizing.
But by the same token, you can get your tires pumped a bit too high too by being online, because like the small bit of stuff I put up, and you get people going amazing. You're like, it wasn't that great. It was all right. It was all right. Like you should have seen me last night. You know what I mean? Actually, come to the show and you'd see what the difference it is like.
Oh man, yeah, I could tell you all about it. The online people, they're something else.
Because that was when I knew you were down in Cork, all right. But the first time I came across you was the Only Funny German, and it was TikTok. Because even people had messaged me, going, "Oh, you need to get the Only Funny German on." And at that stage, I'd already met you and everything. I was like, "Oh yeah, Jesus, for sure, yeah." But forget your fucking name. It was just the only funny. You'd literally become your moniker. He's the only funny German. We have that now tattooed on him.
One day, who knows? It's a nice moniker though. It's good motivation as well. It means I have to try and be good.
It's fucking a lot of pressure.
I look so stupid. Yeah, it's good motivation.
And what was the? Like, obviously you were doing stand-up first, but you're just, rather than just putting up stand-up clips, you went, like, it was great. You did the ones I first saw were the comparisons back and forth between Ireland and Germany.
Oh yeah.
But your dad is utterly adorable. He's adorable. He's just sitting there. You're just throwing and you're throwing obscure ones at him too, like Shift. You're like, the poor man. He's doing great. Right?
He's a star in his own right, man. I really think if he was on social media, he'd be doing very well. He'd
That's
be
the
doing
thing,
very
yeah.
well.
That's the thing. Like he's one of those hidden gems. He's just going chuckling along with it, going, and he's so nice about it too. When you like another half a bastard would turn around and go, "What the fuck are you on about, Daniel? Would you shift? Look, I answered your question. Would you?" And he's like, "Oh, that's nice to know." Do you know, in a lovely way.
Yeah, I did that was all like a lockdown project for me, really.
Yeah.
I started during lockdown. I did a few videos just in my kitchen because I was bored, and they started doing really well, so I kept making more. And then lockdown ended, and like, you know, the stage returned and stand-up was back, so I kind of started doing that a little more afterwards. But yeah, it was just lockdown, really. It was nice. It was nice to have a little bit of free time to do stuff.
When did you come over?
2019, the end of November
Was that all?
2019.
November
Yeah, yeah.
2019, and then you went straight into fucking lockdown.
Straight into, I did 3 open mics and then lockdown happened, man. I did 3 open mics and like 1 book gig, and then lockdown happened. I was fucked. It's
like,
terrible.
Was ist das? For fuck's sake. Would you like, you would have decent English coming here anyway, like, but you've gotten a nice Cork accent now, which is great.
Yeah, a little bit of it. I absorb the accents. I don't know. I'm like a chameleon. I just absorb the accents around me. I lived in Ipswich before in England. You have that place?
Yeah, it's a place that I've only heard of, and I can't. It is a place of no note in my mind. Is there anything I should know about Ipswich?
It's changed now, but about 3 to 4 years ago, it was the sexual crime capital of England. That's all you need to know about it. Just want to say it hasn't dropped because I moved away. Okay, that's not why it's gone. It's not why it's gone. I want to clarify this.
I was just thinking it. Ipswich are like, oh, thank fuck. The predator has left. I don't know who he was, but he's left anyway. Thank God. Thank God. Cork, I'm just saying, he moved into your student area. I'm just saying, it's Ipswich.
You should go sometime though. It's an experience, Ipswich. It's if y'all was like more criminal. It's kind of like that. If y'all was like a bit more, you know, a bit more streets.
Y'all is yeah. Do you know what? A bit of crime would help y'all.
Maybe it would.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just Sons of Anarchy, just hold up there for a while or something. Just do like, it's a place it shouldn't be forgotten about. Like, it's a fine place, but it's in that no man's land. Do you know what I mean? Isn't it? It's like between Waterford and Cork, and it should have been once upon a time. Maybe it was exotic enough to go that far from either direction, but now it's like, oh no, we all have motorized vehicles now. It's fine. Yeah. We won't go there.
I really like y'all, man. Y'all is good place to me. Spend a lot of days there.
A man could get his thoughts together in y'all. You won't you won't be clouded by too many outside noises in y'all.
That's what that was literally it though, because when the lockdown first happened, as I said, I was here like for a very short time, you know, so I didn't really know anyone, and I had one friend in comedy, James. You know James? Great comedian. And he I just used to go up to y'all and like stay at his place for like 2-3 weeks, enjoy the sea, just relax, and sort everything out, man. So it's beautiful.
Ipswich, you said, right, done with you predators. I'm out of here. What was it? A job that brought you to Cork, or were you like, I just need out of here?
It was a job. It was a job for Apple.
Yes, you told me that was an interesting job that you had for Apple. It was, but it was mostly like, was it Apple TV? You had to watch TV or something?
I watched TV all day. I did quality control. It's not that interesting. It's very boring job.
It sounds amazing though. Like, in all fairness, because you think Apple, you know what I mean? You're in a factory with a bunch of other Asian kids. I'm not suggesting you're an Asian kid, but you know, you're putting little things together, and then they put those nets so you can't jump off the building, and then you bounce back in, and you have to keep on making them. But you're actually at home watching Apple. Like, do you get to watch cool shows? And what do you?
No, you know, it's not cool. You watch like Dora the Explorer for like a week straight. It's not good, man.
Man, that'd bend your brain after a while, though, would it?
Yeah. It was fine while we were in the office, but then it started being from home as well. So I
Oh,
just felt like I was on this hellscape from 9 to 5 every day of watching children's TV show in Polish. It's horrible, man. It was horrible.
well, what's quality control? Like, what's the checklist for, let's say, an episode of
uh,
Dora the Explorer? What are you looking
I
for
don't
where you're
know.
going?
Stuff like this, the sound being in sync, the subtitles being in sync, stuff like that.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Just so they know what they're putting out isn't completely out of whack. But that's a job that's going to be taken by AI in like 2 years. It's fine.
To be honest, I'm amazed it hasn't been already. Like, because that sounds to me like two technical things lining up. Instead, you have a German who most likely is getting drunk in the middle of the day by himself in his pants. Like, I don't want to be stereotyping you, but if an Irish fella or you are sitting, you're both getting drunk in the middle of the day watching Dora, or getting high.
Yeah.
Getting high would be the only way, to really get through that.
You ever been up there on the to the Apple campus in Cork?
Yeah, like it must be 12, 13 years ago. I was up near
Yeah.
it, and it just seemed huge.
Yeah, it's a weird place.
Obscure place to put it.
Yeah.
Like, when all the other companies kind of found these big green pastures out in Little Island and Ringaskiddy and all the rest of it, and this place went, nah, we're going to slap it right up at Knocknaheeny in the north side and take up what little green pasture you people might have. We're going to put a big fucking brick building in it and make phones or computers or something.
It's like a little parallel universe in there, man. I remember that a mini Oktoberfest in there while I worked, where like all the Germans who worked in the company were invited to meet in a room. We all had like one beer together and then back to work. Unreal.
That's just October. That's not a fest. That's just October. That's not a fest.
No fest.
There's no fest. Because they yeah, go on, sorry.
No, what other job do you have? Imagine if you had a job and someone was like, hey, step away there, drink a beer with your colleagues and go back. Like, that's insane.
But why would you do it to your colleagues? Like, what? Because somebody wrote that in HR and went, this would be good for the German lads. I think we should do this for the German lads. One beer. Why would you give German lads one beer? Like, do you know what I mean?
You could take more. They were on like little paper cups. So the cheeky boys could have taken like 2 or 3 and, no one would have noticed.
It's like showing an Ipswich Predator like one nipple. You know what I mean? He's going to go... He's going to want to go to town after that.
This is the first time I've ever talked about Ipswich in any sort of way, and I'm very happy it's in this way.
Do you know what? We're dumping all the German Irish stuff. We're just going to dedicate the rest of the podcast to the Ipswich and the Predators they're in.
Oh man, you can you'll go down the rabbit hole some point. It's a long history.
The UK is a weird place. Like, for not a very huge landmass, they have such, like, it's only time and a half the size of Ireland. People go, like, when you meet English people, they think it goes on and on like America. You're like, no, dude, you're really fucking small, just like us. Like, I put the variance of these mad pockets of absolute shitholes that you drive by. You're like, that's an absolute drive-by city. I don't want anything to do with what I'm seeing right now. That is dreadful looking in there. Like,
it's horrible. It's horrible.
There's a handful of nice bits like the Cotswolds and the Lake District for really wealthy white people. That's it. Everything else.
Sheeran.
And Ed Sheeran. Yeah, exactly. Ed Sheeran.
His face is everywhere in there, man. He's like the supreme leader of Ipswich. His face is all over the place.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a museum where you can go see his like childhood bedroom and stuff. It's very weird.
What? Say that again. Yeah. They made a replica of his bedroom somewhere.
Yeah, in Ipswich, you can go see it.
From what age group was his bedroom? Because I'm trying to picture if somebody went to look at my fucking bedroom from when I was like 14 or 15, and if you went authentic, trust me, guys, it actually fits.
I think it's really weird because the guy's still alive and he's like relatively young as well. This is what they do for people dead for 200 years. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. You don't want to see actual posters of players that are still playing on the wall. Like, jizzy socks on the floor. Okay, well, we're on authentic. Fair enough. Fine. Fits in actually in Ipswich, guys. This fits in. This is part of the narrative around here, actually. A bit filthy. I'd forgotten he was Ipswich. What, yeah. Christ above. But going back, because I was always interested to ask people who have, had gone viral on different platforms. And you were saying like the kickback can be good or bad. But like, what's like, you get people, I one and only, some will do like 10, 15, 20,000 views on I don't know. I don't understand TikTok at all and how because I could literally put up an identical thing and it would do 700. One would do 20,000. Do you know what I mean? Relatively. But one, and I guess it's a nations thing. I remember one of the first times I was ever on TikTok, and I went, something I found out today was that Polish people don't have a word for toes. They call them fingers of your feet. That was it. Said no more. Oh my sweet Jesus Christ. Like 700 comments. 500,000 views. Like, this is the least creative thing I've ever done in my life. Why do you like this? But obviously it was people going, yeah, well, it's you that's wrong, motherfucker. I'm like, Jesus Christ, steady on.
They also have the attention. They have like no attention span on TikTok. TikTok is like no attention span.
I'm with you.
At all.
Yeah, in fairness, that entire thing was over in like 7 seconds. That makes sense. Okay.
If it's quick and it's stupid and it's easy, and you can immediately understand the concept, that's what they're like. As soon as you have to think a little bit, it usually doesn't go on the TikTok.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's the saddest thing. That's some indictment for humanity, isn't it? The biggest social media on the planet. Well, Tom, if it takes anything for their brain to work at all, forget about it.
Shout out to my followers. You're different. You're smart. You're different.
You're not. You're all from Ipswich. But they going back then, like, what part of Germany? Because I know you told me, but I wasn't. Because you're rural more than anything, are you?
Yeah, I'm super. I'm from the bog, man. It's 200 people in my village. Yeah, it's tiny.
Even a village, or is it out the country? Like, are you farmy people?
It is that. It is the sort of village that was like 3 farms.
Okay.
I'd say like 4 generations ago, and now it's become a village.
Right.
Yeah, but like everyone is related. Everyone knows each other. My neighbors are like an aunt that lives across the road, an uncle that lives next door. Like it's all just families and stuff,
Literally, you were just sent out as an envoy to breed out. Is that what you're telling me? Like, just find new blood, bring it back, Dan.
Nah, they don't. They didn't want me to go, man.
Yeah, that was going to be the next question, because I mean, a community like that doesn't want the boy to go. Like, you know what I mean? The fresh-faced lad.
Not at all. Did not. No. My mother has only just recently started being kind of okay with it, but it's mostly the stand-up. Because as soon as I had one picture where I was on stage in front of like 4 people, my mother was like, "He's a star! Oh, have you seen him?" So they immediately sold it.
Fine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
First open mic, she was like, "Oh my God, people actually like to listen to him."
But to be fair, like, taking a selfie of you watching Dora the Explorer in your pants probably wouldn't sell it to your mother too hard either, though. No. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
I'm on stage.
Not at all.
To be fair, if you are going to move away from a nice environment like that, you got to go do something cool. Like, I never understand. Like, I have one friend, and he is in Germany now. He does love it because he's in Munich and he likes Order. The same guy always liked Order, and he likes the Order of Munich in the way he is. Do you know what I mean? He's in sync better with Munich than he was in Dublin, but he's literally doing the same thing that he was doing in Dublin. I'm like, would you? If you were going to go, but you not, like, you love race cars. They're really into them over there. Would you not go? He's like, no. It's just fine to do this over here. Okay. If you're gonna go somewhere, like breaking your mother's heart, you go somewhere, make it worthwhile, man. Do you know, going somewhere just to do the same fucking thing for the same money.
That's very true.
That you don't really like, you know.
I was just, I'd say kind of understimulated there, It's just not enough going on.
That's, of course, that's the big thing. Like, what's the option what's the name of your village?
Bockhorst, if anyone wants to look it up.
Bockhorst.
Bockhorst, yeah.
There's almost there's kind of a South African sound to that, though, isn't there?
Yeah. It's the same phonetic root, South African, because the Dutch colonial.
Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Where I live is actually right on the Dutch border, so the German, there's like a certain German accent that people speak where I live that they speak nowhere else in Germany, and it's a mix between German and Dutch. I can't understand it, really.
Really?
I can understand only a little bit. It's gotten much worse since I moved away.
I know they only up the road.
Like the Dutch, the Netherlands.
Well, that accent that you were talking about, like even German.
No, that's
accent.
literally my parents speak like that to each other.
You're like, I haven't understood a word in years, lads. Honestly,
it'd be like, the very like extreme Kerry accent. It'd be a bit like that, I'd say. Yeah.
So your proper culture, so right.
Yeah, proper culture, man.
To be fair, since I moved back here, it was only I was talking with a guy today, and he started talking about how like the rain actually fucking, I don't know, broke some fucking roof on some shed belonging to him. I think that's what he was saying to me. And it was like, I mean, I grew up 5 kilometers from you, and I'm really struggling here. Yeah, like you could be French right now. You could actually be French the way you're speaking. That's how far off I am. I picked up a shed roof and all the rest. It go like you don't think about it so much, but it was only, I remember, like in Ireland, we love to talk about our accents and how variants they are. But sure, of course, in a homogenized country like, Australia, they all sound the fucking same. Like, but you get an old there they fucking do. Like, they fucking do. They fucking do. Even Australians will tell you, like, there might be a bit of a twang when you get to Sydney, and then there might be a bit of a higher up bit. And what I was told by Beck Hill is that in Alice Springs, they speak with the mouth really closed. That's it. That's the variance of the entire continent of Australia. And they only speak like that because from generations of living in a place that's got lots of mosquitoes and flies, you actually keep your mouth closed really tight. And that's how they speak. I was like, that's it. A fucking, like, 20,000 kilometers wide, or however wide this thing is. That's how the variance went. Yeah, that's it, right? I went, fuck. But it's when somebody was talking about somebody was recently talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was struggling for any sort of work when he in Austria or Germany. It's like because he had a big country accent up on him, and they were like, no, you do not have a posh dialect to be on any sort of, you're like, you're a big fucking culture, and nobody thinks of Arnie as being a big old fucking culture, like, but of course they're there. Yeah. Germany is more farmland than fucking
we're everywhere.
Any place. Yeah, everywhere.
We're everywhere, man.
Jesus. And was there not a temptation to move somewhere in Germany, like head down to Berlin, where all the, all the uber liberal people are?
Maybe eventually. I really like speaking English, man. I preferred, I think.
Do you? Nice. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I just kind of enjoyed living life speaking that language. Just simpler. German is a bit too, you need to use your brain too much while speaking it.
This is TikTok coming back around again, isn't it? I don't want to say nothing that makes me think, God damn it. Growing up not understanding your parents too probably didn't help, like.
Understood them growing up. I don't really understand it that well anymore. I understood them growing up. I'm trying to think. I can't even think of a sentence in the dialect now because I've completely fried it now.
And then because I remember talking with Michael Rice, and I mentioned it to you, the variance in cities in Germany, like, because you think of German cities as it seems to be portrayed. Sure, I mean, we all have stereotypes, like, but of course it seems to be portrayed in Germany that everything's orderly and everything. But for some reason, Berlin seems to be, while it's orderly, no doubt, there seems to be a ludicrous level of liberalism. Like Michael Rice was saying, he wasn't ready for it. Like, and he'd been living in London, but he was like, this was too much. Like, people were just wanting to have sex with you in the street. It was just
what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
I think he's now. You think your country? That's a very country man. That's a very country man. That's a big jump. That's a big jump from fucking rural fucking Kilkenny to being molested by some woman in a park in Berlin is a long jump for that man.
Hey, I spent time in Ipswich, man. What's wrong with that?
It was actually you in Berlin that molested Michael, wasn't it? It was just.
I guess it would be, but I think Berlin works pretty well as a city, to be honest. I think people who like live in Berlin and whine about certain things are a little privileged, you know. Like that city works pretty well. Like life there's comfortable. The rent isn't as crazy as fucking Dublin, for example. You know.
I don't think any place is as crazy as Dublin right now. Some of the shit that's going on. It's like
it's insane. Insane.
Is Cork as bad?
Yeah, Cork's pretty bad too, to be honest.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm privileged where I have a little shoebox to myself, which is nice.
That's you're one of the lucky ones because I can only imagine. I was somebody's talking to my wife recently. Her brother had moved back, and he'd moved back, and it was to Dublin, and the only thing he could get was a house share. And this guy was like close to 40. You don't want to be sharing at 40. You don't want to be moving in with people. You know what I mean? You can't.
Oh yeah, that's rough.
And it was like he hadn't taken that into consideration, and it was. Oh man, he was thinking, Jesus Christ, I can't be dealing this. Like, we're gonna have to take time with the showers. Gonna have to write on our milk. Fuck.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. Jeez. It is always shocking that sort of stuff, man. Especially seeing it on Ireland now, where it's so much worse. Like I thought it was bad in England, but it's so much worse here, man.
Of course, yeah. It's I don't know what is driving it. I guess there is employment or whatever, but you'd assume. I mean, yeah, they're keeping the market back. But when I saw, if they called it a studio, they're giving it a fancier name. It was a fucking studio apartment. But now they had to give them their due for what it was. It was done to a very high standard of bed and curtains. That's it. The kitchenette, very high standard kitchenette. But like, they wanted nearly $4,500 a month for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You'd stay in a hotel for way less than that.
Yeah,
like
stay in a hotel.
Just live in a hotel. Like fucking
I'd commute back and forth from Germany instead of living
you
there.
You fucking would. You would.
Fly.
Jesus Christ. Richard Harris lived in the Ritz for the last 7 or 8 years of his life. And it was like, oh yeah, it was central London. Of course he did. Genius. Like you get a yearly rate. Fucking grand. But then, yeah, go on. Sorry.
No. Sorry. I was gonna bring up something else.
I want to know because every time you come up with something, it's a fucking zinger of some sort. Like whether.
No. I wanted to thank you because I listened to the episode with with Kira, and it was very nice to hear you guys talk so positively about Cork and the scene down here. You know,
it was. You know nice. What? I was going to get around to it, but it was. Yeah. You're right. It's.
So I just pulled the rug there.
You did, you see, and this isn't your show, Dan, but you know what I mean. I'm joking. Whatever comes naturally, and you're right. You're right to throw it in whenever it was in your head, and you had to say thank you, which is a very nice thing to do. But it wasn't meant. It wasn't a fucking compliment on purpose, right? It was because Irish people can't deal well with thank yous. Oh Jesus Christ, I'm struggling with this. But no, it was truthful to the core because. As you know, every time I come down, I fucking love comedy. Like I've loved this shit. Like I would do it anywhere. I genuinely would do it as an escape. I damn near probably have done it in a escape of some sort in different places. Like, but it was so heartwarming is the right word. When I started to see what you were doing after lockdown, it's like, oh, this is fucking the right thing to be doing. This is because you see, I was so. It wasn't jealous, but I didn't have the wherewithal to recreate it myself to see what the boys were doing in Belfast and how it was growing for them. And it was like this fucking. Now, they have. I mean, those boys have literally flypaper on their souls. People are just stuck to them. I've never seen anything. There is no place like it in the world. It can't be any place like it in the world. Where these lads are just filling theaters that would blow your fucking mind, the size of these theaters. And it's I mean, Colin Geddes was at the forefront of it all. You know what I mean? His sketches, and then he, stand up, and then his own club. But it's people, and I genuinely think it's in a place like that. I think for years and years, generationally, you were on one side or you were on the other, and you were
Mm.
staunchly. Now, some people were impartial, but you were forced to kind of be on one side or the other. And now that that's all dissolving, I think genetically, well, genetics is probably the wrong word, but maybe as a sociology expert could clarify it for me. But they have something in them that wants to support something,
Yeah.
wants to support, and when they, by Jesus Christ, when they do, like I did my show there last year in Belfast, and it sold out. It was the first
Yeah.
one to sell out on the tour in fucking Belfast,
Amazing,
like
man.
the furthest away
Amazing.
place, like. But because of my going up there for years, they were like, "Yep, he's our guy." Yeah, and there was no, almost like you could have a neighbor. I could have a neighbor living next door to me here. My biggest fan, they wouldn't tell you. Do you know they
Mm.
keep it to themselves? Up there, they're buying t-shirts with your face on it. It's like,
That's
it's
crazy.
unashamed fanboy, like
Yeah.
unashamed fanboy. Like it's amazing to see it. So I was just, the scene was so healthy, but on a like you couldn't recreate the people. You can't recreate people, but the vibe was very good in that they were all punching very hard at the clubs. You know what I mean? They were
Mm.
all getting there when they could, and all the rest of them. There seemed to be a real enthusiasm for it. I was like, fuck, there's no place. Dublin it's splintered. You know what I mean? It's all
Yeah.
lone.
It's
It's
not.
lone wolves,
Yeah.
like, because that's just the way the city is, and it just isn't rolling like that. But when I saw what you were doing to Coco, I was like, look at the enthusiasm from even young comics in here. Like, there was, you know what I mean? They're buzzing from the get go. They want to be laying out chairs. Of course you do. Of course you fucking do. Yeah, because that's exactly what you'd want to be doing. Like, what, you know what I mean? If you loved, like, if you loved
Yeah.
five-a-side soccer, you'd be in with the cones putting them out too. Like, you should be not
Yeah.
rocking up and
Absolutely.
going, well, and then just do your shit and fuck off. You're like, all right, yeah, okay, fair enough. But like, you see it there 9 times out of 10, the entire lineup will wait and watch the
Yeah.
headliner. Do you know what I mean? And chat afterwards. You're like, this is what a comedy club is supposed to be about. Yes, the audience, but the comics should be all having a good buzz too. Like,
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
but
Absolutely.
did you consciously think that's what we want to develop? You know what I mean? Yourself and Con.
I'd say so, yeah. I mean, we're both I'd say we're both fairly sound people. Like, we don't tend to, have any grudges or ever have like not not just talk about our issues, like you're supposed to. Which is, I think, that's where a lot of the splinterness comes from. People don't really openly
But even
talk
you could
about
get
what they
two
have.
sound lads together, but it just,
Yeah.
I don't know, for one reason or another, it just seems to fucking just flitter away. But you seem to be going from strength to strength, like.
No, thank you. I appreciate. I think it's. I. I mean, you know Con very well. I don't have
Yeah,
to tell you, but he's the fucking loveliest. He's so easy to work with, and that really, it makes it so much easier.
yeah.
I don't know. I have never had a working relationship where there's a little drama before, so it works very well.
When you consider it, like, it's actually the
Yeah,
comedy world and no drama. Like,
yeah. In
beautiful.
any circumstance, all people hate each other. Like, anytime people
Yeah.
work together, then they're hating each other. Everybody despises each other. Doesn't matter what scene you're in; it's always the same.
It was lucky. Yeah, I mean, it's just lucky that you found each other. But you know what? That
Mm.
pours over into the audience too, because even that night, like, sweltering hot didn't make a difference. Everybody was in there. They were on the buzz, like, and there was nothing on the
Yeah,
wall. It's not like you have a big fucking sign on the wall saying, be laughing now. You know what I mean? You don't have to fucking have, like, you see it in some of the American clubs I've been to and stuff. And Christ
really.
above, it's damn near telling you, there's it's almost too late on what's happening next, whereas, like,
Yeah,
there seems to be an acceptance that, oh, we're all sitting in the right direction, that's good enough, let's see what happens. But everybody seems to be in tune with the fact that, oh no, this, I already know this is going to be good. There's
yeah.
no sucking their teeth going, but I don't know about that, like,
I get you. I get you. I think that's important. I think the whole experience is start to finish. It's important. The moment you kind of step into the room to the moment you walk out, satisfied. I think the whole part is very. It's good to have like a little system for everything. I think, and it
I,
works really well with
had you
all the
ever
residents
work
helping and everything.
had you ever worked in any form of hospitality? Because you can see by the two of you, you're actually greeting people correctly when they come in. And it's, I tell you, it's a
Yeah, I was a
tiny...
bartender in Ipswich for a bunch of years.
Can I hold your duct tape? Can I hold your duct tape, sir?
Who
Would you
let
like
this man near the drinks?
But I swear to God, like, because my wife years ago, she used to run nightclubs and stuff in the UK, and
Mm,
she was like, she does kind of front of house in the Hill, and it's not that the owners are kind of going, "Oh, sure, if you want, we'd throw one of the lads up there." I was like, no, you trust me, watch, and you see the way she greets people, the same way you do, like
mm.
smile, front of house. People are already going, "Oh, we're going to a show." Do you know what I mean? This doesn't feel like I'm, like you go to the cinema and you see some long-faced fucking teenager just stomping your hand or stomping your ticket, going, 703. It's not that you need it, but it's
Mm,
nice. It does something subconscious to you as a customer, doesn't it? Like,
yeah. No, absolutely. I think it's very, very, very important. But yeah, I think that's probably where it's from. But even then, I just like smiling at people first time I meet them anyways. It's like, it's their first impression of you. Why would you look grumpy?
you say that, but you
Yeah.
know well what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking. I think that's people in a part of their life where they just couldn't give a fuck what anybody thinks.
Oh, we've met you at that.
Couldn't
We've met you at.
care.
We've met you at the turn. I see. Okay. I understand, Janice. No problem. I'll find my own seat. Thank you very much. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be. Oh Christ, yeah. It was funny. I was in two different experiences of a coffee shop, a local
Mm,
coffee shop here, and they have very, very nice coffee, very nice bits and pieces. But I brought the wife and the kid in there yesterday, and I'd been in there. I was like, oh, they're lovely. They're so nice. Like the guy and the girl the last day couldn't do enough. They were just so polite and delighted. We came in, or I went in and got the coffee the last time, and I walked in, and it's like this woman. She was just fucking done with us the second we walked in. It wasn't particularly rude. There was just nothing in her. She was
oh
like,
no.
she's like, yeah, okay, all right. Jesus Christ. I'm like, oh,
Would you ever complain to when you have like at a coffee shop or a bar or something when they mess up your order?
oh yeah, yeah.
Would you
Yeah.
complain? Ah.
It's I know it's apparently very un-Irish, and my wife has gotten over all that embarrassment.
Yeah.
But I do like there'll be a lot of I take pride in crafting it well enough that I'm not going, the fuck was that? Do you know what I mean? Or I go,
That's
look,
very good. Yeah.
I'll try. Look, we all have our off days. I get it.
I
I
I
get
think
it.
it's a I talk to Con about this sometimes. I think it's a generational thing because like every time I hang out with people who are my age or younger, no, if there's an order wrong, no one says a word.
Oh no, like I think it's a general thing the world over. To be honest with you, like
Yeah.
most of my friends wouldn't. They just wouldn't. Like like I know my father would, but he has no tact. I mean, and he's not even trying to be rude, but my God, the man he's like a child with a chainsaw. Like he'll try to say the correct thing and going, do you know what? I just wanted to say that maybe perhaps the beef was a little cold. But what would come out of his mouth was, fuck me, my face damn near stuck to the thing with the fucking freezing. You're like, you could have come at that a bit more subtle. And he'd be like, oh, I thought I
Yeah.
toned it down a bit. And you're like, no, you didn't at all. You didn't at all. But I think there's ways of coming about it. And you can kind of guess if it's probably not the fucking waiter's fault. But I've pulled people up on being rude rude as fuck. Like I don't care. I remember being in Leicester one time, staying in the hotel, and the woman had a fucking black eye. Do you know what I mean? She was rough as hell. She stunk of cigarettes that was serving me my breakfast in this hotel. But she was a sweetheart, as good as you could be. And I had no problem. I was
Oh
like,
no.
she's doing the best she can. And
Yeah.
looks like she's had a rough one. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna give her 5 stars. Of course I am. Yeah, fucking tick that 5 stars. The brekkie was a bit rough, but service was top of the pops. I didn't want to look directly at her, but top of the pops, right? But you know what I mean? you got to, and somebody's, and I had to a couple of times, you're just getting fucking slopped down this thing in front of you. I think I think in this day and age, and shit costs so much fucking money, it's worth.
That's
I
true,
think
yeah.
it's worth at some stage pulling him on it. Like,
I guess it depends how egregious it is as well. I think if it was something really ridiculous, I might say something.
I think again, you can nearly put it back in their hands a small bit and make them not embarrassed, but kind of catch them a little bit, because sometimes people can go in. I think they can fall between the cracks of the day and just kind of go, oh, just on to the next. And there was a dude, man, he's been rude forever in this. It's another coffee shop, but the guy's just, he takes rudeness to another level, and you just know the guy is, the vibe he gives you is that he's too good to be in the place. Like, daddy owns it. Like, and he was just, yeah. I went, and I couldn't. It just came out of you. I went, the fuck do you mean, yeah? I said, the next step is you want me to hand you money for yeah. And you can see, the other staff looking. I went, man, how do you ask somebody what they want? But yeah. I went, seriously.
I was probably once a pretty shitty customer service teen. I wouldn't be surprised.
It was.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But I did it with a smile on my. I did it with a smile on my face, kind of going, man, catch yourself on. At least say next, or what can I get you? Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your yeah. Fuck off. You want $3.70 for a tiny coffee for yeah? Look, you gotta polish my balls a small bit. Come on, make me feel special. Jesus Christ!
Did you tip him?
I did, yeah. I fucking tipped him all right. But I tell you an interesting thing, Limerick I found has very good customer service. On
really?
Yeah. Oh, on a general case. It's
that's interesting.
Yeah, because we were living in Dublin for years, and people are frozen out to you like any big city. You're just who's next, and we were taking my wife for Valentine's we were going out at the time to Limerick, but it was something we just went as a weekend away, whatever. But it was something we both noticed. We're like, Jesus Christ, people actually acknowledge you're a human behind, and you could immediately, it damn near changed the taste of the food. You're like, this is an actual restaurant you're in, or an actual coffee shop, or a salad bar, or whatever you're in, rather than just. But the same thing goes then, is in the simplest form, to set people down the right path with comedy. Because even you're just even walking to your seat, it's not like, because we all know there's a couple of clubs out there where things can get weird. Don't have to go too far. You know what I mean?
I know this. I mean, simple customer service is so easy, and I think especially for a comedy show where it's a product I like. I even hate calling it a product, but they're buying into something I really believe into. So it's easy for me to sell it and be like, "Hey, it's a great show. You enjoy this."
Yeah. But that's a valid point. But you think just for that hour, you think you could lie to yourself at least, like, for some of these people, like, just lie to yourself. Tell yourself that you're enjoying this moment. Jesus Christ.
There'd be a little light that tells you when to laugh, and that's when you laugh.
Do you know that is a thing in Asia, in China?
You were saying earlier, that blows my mind.
Yeah, they genuinely have fucking laugh now, but they actually have sound effects. So say you drop a lot, like you hit the punchline or you hit a funny spot in the middle, they'd be like a like, I swear to God, and they're all to go, like.
Oh, they're way ahead. They're way ahead of us, man. That's crazy. They're so ahead of us.
Yeah, but they've gone over the edge into absolutely fucking having to tell you how to have a personality, because that's going to do nothing but breed maniacs. Like, if people end up being that devoid of humanity, like, you're going to breed nothing but fucking maniacs. Like,
We'll leave the light out. I like the sound effects, though.
Yeah, I do. I kind of like the idea, like the obscurity of having a sound effect, or Because sometimes lads can take it too far. You're going, Jesus Christ, you brought an entire band system up with you. But I do
Yeah.
like the idea, the silliness of something out of the blue. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
do you remember, like, you remember Def Jam? Like, you wouldn't, neither one of us remember because it was in the fucking 80s and 90s. Like, but it was,
I know Def Jam,
we-
the Def Jam comedy.
you'll see clips of it everywhere. But do you
Yeah.
ever see that legendary Bernie Mac one when he was a young
Mm.
Bernie Mac?
Don't think so, no.
He's like, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You ever see that one? No. It's
No,
one that
no,
he
this
doesn't
is
even look
great.
like Bernie Mac because he's so young, and he's not in a suit or anything, and he's wearing like glasses, and he's got these ridiculous pair of jeans that, like, in the early 90s you could have like somebody's face painted on a pair of jeans. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but he's just standing there, and the DJ, he was just coming out with just crazy Bernie Mac shit, like talking about the size of his dick and stuff. It's like, my shit's so big, if I pull it out, this whole fucking room goes dark. And the place is roaring laughing. You know, they're all going crazy, right? But when he'd hit a line like that, there was a DJ at the back of the room, and he'd go, DJ, hit that fucking shit. And your man would just play, like, for 10 seconds, some fucking banging tune, and he'd fade it out again. He'd just into the next bit. I loved that there was no segue. It was just like, I'm done now. Fucking play some music to fucking keep these animals going. And then he'd just head into the next bit. And his line after every time the music would finish, he goes, I ain't scared, you motherfuckers. And the place would just go buck fucking white. It's one of the most purest forms of stand-up I've ever seen, because it's so fucking wild and visceral. And this man
Yeah.
he's got a DJ on board to tell him that the joke is ended and to segue him on into the next one. And your man, the DJ's like, whoop,
It's a
whoop,
bit
whoop,
like
whoop, whoop. I love
it's a bit like Rodney Dangerfield with the big band. You ever seen
Yeah.
that one? Yeah, that's a similar one as well. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. I love the idea of that. Just why not push all the
Yeah.
limits of it to see where we can go with it? Like the
Absolutely, absolutely.
we should we should. Although I remember talking with somebody before, when they used to do it before, was like a full cabaret show. You know what I mean? Like, so to be, you'd have dinner, you'd have people for the night. So it'd be a full show. There'd be music, dancing, and comedy, just to see what way it would go. Like, I mean, I don't know, would you have to build a culture of it or whatever? Like, but it could.
Yeah.
I think it could work.
No, that'd be really fun, man. That'd be really, really fun. They do some of them in Galway sometimes, I think, when they do cabaret show with comedy in it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I've kind of come across one or two where, yeah, you'd see it. They're mixing it a bit, but I like the idea of a whole, like, everybody put on your glad rags. That's all.
Yeah.
Let's all head out like and do our thing. Like, you know what I mean?
We just do the maddest shit we can think of. Let's go.
Yeah. And just
that'd be great, man.
lock the fucking doors. We're having a good time. Like, we're in here for the fucking
doors.
Lock the fucking doors. I love the notion of it. But you've now pushed out. Are you out to 4 shows a week now?
I think so. I think it's 5 actually.
Is it?
I think it's 4 days a week. Yeah, but there's 2 on a Saturday as well. So I think it's 5.
That's fucking tremendous. That is tremendous.
It's really nice. It feels really good.
That's like, and then Con starts, like, you're clearly, people are picking up on it, because Con every so often then will message me with this obscure gig out like in Blarney or something, or some other place. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you haven't enough going on with your club. But clearly people are like, I'm down with you. I'm doing like a very, very early show in Blarney, and then I'm going in tea inside in town. It's like, Jesus Christ, right? Okay,
yeah. You do the podcast, isn't it?
No, I don't think this is even a podcast. Maybe it is. No, it's not, because the podcast then is the podcast festival in August. This is a different thing again.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's an entirely different thing.
They're in like 3 different capacities. And now are you running a live podcast there as well, just to keep the room? The fucking roundy must love ye.
They are very nice to us. It is just trying to build something, trying to build something unique. The current owner of the place is very behind it, so it's just nice. Feels good.
But I love that, because I remember going up there like early doors, and like earlier in the day there would have been like, or over the previous night there was like, art, it was an art gallery or something. You're kind of going, oh, now it becomes a comedy club. right now they must be going, yeah, fuck that art gallery shit. Nobody's fucking drinking. Get the boys in. Get the boys in as much as we can.
I think that's it though. Comedy shows are great for bars as well. Like people who go to comedy are usually, filthy alcoholics. It always works out.
Oh, they guzzle. They guzzle beer like at a ridiculous rate.
Yeah, they guzzle.
even I know like the people that own the hill, they had no idea. They had no concept. They were like, but sure, what drinking should we be doing? Going into the people during the thing or whatever. Like, no. Wait till you see what happens at the break. Just have loads of drink ready. Just have loads of it ready.
Yeah.
And lads are getting like 3 pints. They're like, you don't need 3 pints. It's like, you'll never know. I don't want to run out. And you're like, see, people are buying too much drink for themselves. This is what happens in comedy clubs. Because you never know. And you'd hate to get up and have to leave. It's a perfect fucking combo.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant for everybody because everyone's sitting down and everyone's very well behaved as well. Everyone's just sitting listening,
Sure, listen, even the last day, I don't know, because I have my show later on in the year, in Collins, but a rake of tickets again. Like people actually, what I really enjoy, and it's like I haven't missed gigging in Dublin at all since moving out there. I gig there the odd time, but I haven't really because you're kind of a nameless, faceless person because a lot of the time it's just the tourists. Whereas immediately after doing the gig in whatchamacallit, a dozen tickets will sell for later on in the year. Do you know what I mean? So people go, I want to see more of that fella that I now know the name of and will remember. Do you know what I mean? Like, there seems to be more of a personal touch.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's a very nice little audience, very, very nice little audience here at the moment.
Have you brought your parents over to Cork yet?
Yeah, they've seen a show.
Did they?
Yeah.
They've seen you live.
What was? Speak a word of English.
No. I loved it. Trust me, I was amazing. Just in case you're wondering, I was very amazing. Did you make reference to him in the audience?
Have you ever seen a picture of my dad? Do you know what my dad looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks exactly like me, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly like you, only clean shaven.
Yeah,
that's it. He's literally like you, only clean shaven.
Only clean shaven. I pointed that out to the audience, and they loved it. And then because my dad, he's got a bit of a father belly on him.
Nothing wrong with that.
What was? Nah. But my joke was a little mean. What was it? Something like every time I see him, I think that's what I'm gonna look like when I'm older, and then I think I really should start going to the gym more.
Oh, you're a brave bastard saying it in English. Say it back in German. Yeah.
I told him in German immediately after. He was fine with it.
Of course he was, for fuck's sake. He's like, I'm in good nick, actually, for a father. Thank you very much. I'm in good nick.
He's like a black belt in karate.
Of course he is.
If you want
he'd
to.
fuck you up. That's why he wasn't bothered. He's like, yeah, you keep making your jokes. You make your jokes, sissy boy. I fucking slapped the shit out of you.
He is many times, not in a child abuse way,
not in an Ipswich way, like that. Just
no. His favorite move when I was like, when me and my brother were like 16 upwards, he would be like, "Here, do you want to learn a cool martial arts move?" And we'd be teenage boys, be like, "Yeah, absolutely." And he'd be like, "Oh, just push me here," and then he'd just fucking flip us over.
We never tempted to be
like, Jesus Christ.
We never tempted to learn any martial art because your old man was so tidy.
I didn't have the head for it. I went to loads of his lessons, just I didn't stick to it,
Yeah, right enough. And when sensei is, because you never want to be. Everybody's calling him sensei, and the next thing you call him Dede. You're like, oh, ruined. I imagine like Cobra Kai. Your old man is at the top going, get out now. Give me back your headband. You're not.
Yeah, he loves that show. That's like his favorite show at the moment.
Of course he does. He's literally Johnny. He's literally Johnny from back in the day. He is. Just driving around his cool, busted up 70s cool car, like just drinking cans of Miller by himself.
It's all right. I'll ask him. I'm sure he'll do an episode with you. He can jump on the pod.
You know what? I could brush up on my German, actually. Yeah. To be fair, and I'll tell you something. I'm not great with languages, but the way you spoke to your father, you were very, very clear. Is that how clear it normally is? Because I was like, or were you doing that knowing that the camera was listening back? Or was that, would you speak that clear? Because I was like, oh, that makes sense what I'm hearing now.
I I I speak with an English accent in German. I think that's what you're hearing. Yeah, yeah.
How do they feel about that?
They make fun of me for it all the time.
And proper order. Your father's
They're
like,
really they make
that's
fun of me
fucking
all the time.
Ipswich fucking accent. You sound like
It's
a predator.
they were like super countryside. So like, oh, fucking look at the notions on him, Mr.
Yeah.
fucking America over here, Mr. USA.
I love that. Do you know what? Country people are fucking great just to clip you down a little bit the world over. It's great. Oh, look at Fancy Dan, huh? Look at Fancy Dan. Look at fucking Prince Charles walking in. Here he comes. Here he comes. With his tight jeans. For
It's King
fuck's
Charles
sake.
now.
Oh yeah, King Charles. Sorry, yeah. Not that I bet your parents give a shit whether it's Prince or King Charles, like, but
No. My mom loves the monarchy, man. She loves the monarchy.
what is it with mothers and monarchy? What the
she
fuck?
loves them.
They
They're
all want to be
favorite.
under the thumb of the fucking monarchy some which way. I don't know what. Why do they love monarchies?
She just thinks the queen looked like a nice old grandmother.
Yeah.
And she thinks they all look like they'd be really friendly.
They all look inbred. That's what they look. They all look inbred. If that group of people moved in next door and weren't wealthy, you'd go, what is wrong with them? They've all got strange teeth, massive ears, chubby fingers. They've all bad. They've all got bad limbs. This is not a good breed of people to have around the place. Do you know,
the uncles and aunts. It's all gone down here.
I love that, and that's the line I hear from my mother. Said, "Oh, she looks like a lovely old woman." I'm like, yeah, but there's plenty of old women that look like lovely old women who are lovely old women. She just doesn't have to be a fucking billionaire. Do you know? Like, just Jesus Christ. Oh, put a fucking crown on her and she's suddenly magic.
It's so funny. Go make a friend your own age, old mothers. What are you doing? Go make an actual friend your own age. You don't need.
She's like their Conor McGregor right now, or their fucking Andrew Tate. That's who the queen
is. Andrew Tate. King Charles. He's the alpha male, man.
That's it. Yeah.
Alpha male.
God almighty. Yeah, it's because when I think of, like, you think of TikTok originally when I started on it, and there was people having good crack. That's all I saw was people having good crack, like you, people messing, people putting up clips of stand up, fellas running into walls and stuff, hurting themselves. It's like, this is a great social media platform. And then like a week later it was like, oh, so would you like to tell us about the fact that you're a straight white male? Well, we'd like to show you everything we believe that you'd like to see. Here are all the angry fucking straight white males in the world shouting at the camera. I was like, oh my God, I can't. King Andrew Tate just shouting fucking from his Bugatti. For fuck's sake.
I've been on the internet as long as I can fucking remember. This shit is always the same. It's always the same shit. Every new app, it's always the exact same thing.
It does. It all spins the same fucking way eventually. Yeah. It's like, oh, they're going to find a way to have somebody shouting fucking so-called fucking motivational shit. I don't know. Thanks for the no, you're okay. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you very, very much. Come here. Where do we need to know more about you? Obviously, his moniker, which you don't even need to know his name, even though it's Daniel Lukas. It's just he's actually officially, he left Germany. They all said, auf Wiedersehen. Like, the entire country walked into the airport, carried him to the airport, mother crying. They packed him off with a little knapsack saying he's the only funny one of all of us. And all the humor left Germany when you left, obviously. It's that, I know it brings back sad memories for you, but it looks as if when I said it to you there is that all the humor is left. There's no funniness left in Germany anymore.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the point. Don't make all my German followers hate me now.
No.
They're all gonna send me death threats after this.
To be fair, any Germans I ever worked with or ever hung out with, they were the maddest fuckers I've
Yeah.
ever. That were on a level of, oh, I don't know where you got any kind of, or either that or you're fighting that stereotype really hard because you're doing a great fucking job with it.
I think that's it, man. Just trying to show the world that Germans tend to be pretty fun, pretty laid back as well.
Yeah, Germany's actually kind of. I don't want you to go home, but what I'm saying is Germany is pretty class. At the same time, like what's are you that on every platform? The only fun in German.
Oh, pretty much all. I think I have a Twitter page that has a different name, but I never use it. Don't even look that up.
No, God.
Fuck
God.
Twitter. I don't want to have anything to do with that thing.
Sheer fucking depression.
Loads to it, man.
If you find either one of us on Twitter, just don't follow us because it's not worth it.
Block me. Just block my page.
And also Dan's Comedy Club. It is, of course, the Cocoa Club, which you've heard me wax lyrical, which is a phrase I don't use enough.
Thank you so much again. Thank you so much again.
I don't.
Really,
I don't. I'll be back there in August. Well, I know I'll be back there in a couple of weeks, but I'd be back there in August with my live podcast. So I'm very, very excited about that because we'll probably all going to get drunk. Just saying. That's any live podcast I ever did. I was drunk pretty much about 10 minutes in. So
yeah, the room is absolutely fantastic, man. Honestly, for like little live podcasts, it's so intimate and nice. It's brilliant.
They got those sexy beers downstairs. Yeah, to start stuff that could blow the head off a man. So I will definitely be partaking. Daniel Lukas, officially tattooed on him, the only funny German. Thanks a million, dude.
No worries. Thanks. This was so much fun. Thanks for having me.